I'm excited to chat with Linda Albright today on the Awaken Feminine podcast. Linda is an entrepreneurial strategist, empowerment coach, and founder of Women's Wealth Revolution. She's currently teaching women how to create crazy, sexy wealth with all things crypto Web3. And I know she has so much love and wisdom to share with us. She's joining me all the way from Connecticut in the USA. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Becky. I'm so thrilled to be here and I love your work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited for our conversation because it is very much needed. And it's like we're going into a space where there's not many people understand, but people are in it, but they don't understand it, or people are just like totally, too hard. Let's not go there.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. But before we dive into that conversation, can you please share with us what is your definition of an awakened feminine?
Oh, love that. Love that. An awakened feminine is, it can be in men, but we're talking women here, is a knowing how, I had goosebumps, how powerful you are and not letting anyone steal that from you, which is easier said than done, right? It's knowing you have this infinite power and anything on the outside, any conditioned forces, any energies that are coming in, you can't touch it. It's so grounding and so powerful. And what I love about what you're doing, 𝐻𝐢𝐧𝐝𝐚, is now is the time for the feminine to awaken and lead and step out in the world at the incredible juncture that we're at. So that's what it is to me. What is it to you? Do I get to ask you that?
Oh, you're going to ask me a question. And this is my podcast. Yeah, my definition is very similar. It is really for the women or even the men when they awaken their feminine to really step into their power, to know that they're a sovereign being and that they always have a choice. Yeah, to really just speak their truth, live their truth, and really live in alignment with, their soul. So that's my take of the awakened feminine. Yeah.
I love that word sovereignty. We're going to talk about that as we move forward. Absolutely.
Yep. Oh, full goosebumps going on as you were talking. So I love that definition. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for asking me.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, Linda, if you can just share a bit more, expand a bit more about who you are and what you do, and why you do what you do.
Yes, thank you. So Linda Albright, and I'm the founder of the company, the Women's Wealth Revolution, which has been devoted over the last 10 plus years to empowering women spiritually and financially. And why is that? Well, other than the obvious that when women succeed, the world improves, my own personal journey led me to this. So back when I was sort of in your life phase, 𝐻𝐢𝐧𝐝𝐚, a little bit earlier, I was pregnant with my first child, and I was involved in getting a company off the ground at the same time. So I was 5 months pregnant, and I hid the fact that I was pregnant from the panel of investors that we were pitching to. And so which is amazing. The first child, almost 6 feet tall, you can hide the fact that you're pregnant. You can't do that like second and third children as you get older. But I did the first time. And the amazing thing was we got the money. We raised a few $1,000,000 to get this was a .com back in the early days of 2000, to get it off the ground. But what happened was I birthed a baby in the business in the same 2 weeks. And I lost my mind because nobody had told me, don't do that. That's not your first baby and your first business. What? And so it was such a difficult time because as I can do it woman, Rosie the Riveter, I can create anything I want and I'm ambitious. And yet I have this beautiful new life here. How do I do all that? And so that got me into a deeper place of thinking about how do women have it all? Can we have it all at the same time? How do you do this? There's no roadmap for this. Mm-hmm. So that launched that was 20 plus years ago, into this women's empowerment niche of, I know we're incredible women. I know we're incredible beings, and I know we can have it all. How do we play life full out without killing ourselves? So that was the genesis of it all. what I realized is, I thought, oh, I'm just going to figure this out and then I'll package it for people and just give it to you, and then I was like, oh, it's not one size fits all, is it? Like every woman's got her own journey. So, what are we gonna do with that? So the business has evolved to be more catered to who are you and how can we serve you in your own magnificence. So that's how it all started. And it's had many twists and turns, but it's been my life's work, really, because we all know, I'm probably going to say this a number of times, when women succeed, the world improves. Hands down. You can look at any stats. You can look at companies' success rates or what we do with our money. When we succeed, and usually in this world, that means financially succeed, but also just as a leadership position, the world gets better. So that's my shtick.
Oh my goodness. I was just like, whew. You're talking. I love.
Get me started.
I love it. And I just feel the passion, through the screen. So I just love, what you're doing. Can we talk a bit? I mean, we're going to jump into the crypto bit, but I really want to find out from you birthing your baby, birthing your business. You said you lost your mind. So did you actually step back from everything, or how did you navigate through that?
I just got goosebumps. That was one of the hardest points because I did step back. So I hung on so here's how it unfolded. And I was commuting from Los Angeles to San Francisco, which is a 1 hour flight. And I was literally, I wouldn't normally share this. I was literally, because I was on the ground floor of this .com. It was the most exciting time to be in San Francisco at the dawning of the digital era, doing what we were doing, having raised the money, having a high power position, flying back and forth. And then I birthed this baby. It's like, what? I was literally in the corporate office with my breast pump. And then I was like, what am I doing? And then I'd go home, fly home, and I'd watch my nanny play with my child. I remember this moment through my office window. Like my office was behind the house, separate building. And I was like knife in the heart, like, what? I'm supposed to do that. But I was raised and what I want to do is over here. And so in that first year, I don't remember the exact timing, I resigned from my high power position. I took a lesser part-time position. And I did that for about 2 years. And then I realized, oh, I'm supposed to teach women how to make this transition. So then I left the company. We had sold it by that time. So I left the company and launched in this coaching business. But it was excruciating because you live your life with a certain identity and certain expectations and you buy into certain pathways, and then kids will muck that up, fortunately, as it helps us to grow.
Yeah, and I can totally relate to that. I mean, definitely not as intense as your journey, but just when you are running a business or running a company, like for me, running a pharmacy is easy as well. And then you have a child and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but you want to be with the child, but that side is so much easier. And then, there's this feeling of, wow, I have to give up my career that I've worked so hard for. It sounds horrible for this child that I just birthed, which I wanted to birth and I want to spend time with, but what about my career that I worked so hard for?
I know. It's such an extreme, and I don't think anyone can understand it unless they're a woman who's gone through it. And I think the most badass human beings on the planet are moms who work and moms who are entrepreneurs. Because whether you're working outside the home or your own business, it's all like, talk about the sheroes of the world. Like, no kidding. Right? Yeah.
Definitely. Gosh.
Yeah.
I love it. And then the next question I want to ask you is, you teach women, so you were wanting to teach women how to have it all because you wanted to have it all. So what's the verdict? Can women have it all?
I think we can absolutely. Can we have it all? The question is, can you have it all at the same time? And I think that's an individual choice. So for me, you can tell I'm like a big energy and I do something in big ways. And I couldn't do the business, the startup, the way I wanted to, and also be the mother I wanted to be. So I resigned from that position and I sort of part-timed it for a while. So I think that's an individual decision. But my observation is you can have it all, but you might not have everything at the same time when you want it.
Yes.
But you can. I mean, there are some super women out there. I'm not one of them.
Yeah. I don't think there are many of those. And I think they probably have a lot more help than they let on.
True. This is true. This is true. You're absolutely right. What kind of support system do you have? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with that. It is definitely like what you're saying is, you can have the business and the baby, but it would look very different to if you were fully focused on the business and how you want it and fully focused on the baby. Is kind of like that kind of in between, but you still have both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so individual. My heart just was cracked open with the whole motherhood thing. And I just couldn't make sense of how do you spend more time on a business than you do with the child you just brought into the world. But that was my personal thing. And then on the flip side, and I am on very good terms with my ex-husband. And what I realized is he didn't get the best of me because I was so torn. And because I just didn't know. And I don't know how you know. I just didn't know which path to take. And you give up a lot and then you give up pieces of yourself. So in the end, we do the best we can.
Yeah.
What we got.
Yeah, definitely. And the relationship with the husband always seems to be the one that takes a back seat once you have, like, especially your first child, when you're like navigating, you're like, I don't know what just happened.
I've often said to him, I'm so sorry you got the worst 10 years of me, because we ended up with 3 kids, which is very close in age. And I decided, I resigned from that position and started my own thing. And I just feel like that wasn't, I don't know who's showing up. I do have some friends who are really good at mothering, better at the mothering of the young kids than I was. So I just feel like I can see I was not the most fun to be around because it was just so stressful. It's just way over my head. If I had to do it over again, I don't know what I would do, but I would do it obviously with more grace.
Yeah, it's all perfect. It's the journey, it's our journey. And now you're here to share all the parts of your journey. So can we talk about the crypto Web3 space? So what got you into, because obviously when you started, like, back in the days with the .com, this part was not even there yet, right? So how did it kind of evolve for you and stepping into the space?
Thank you for that question. So I've always been what's called an early adopter. I don't invent anything, but I see things coming down the pike and I jump on board because it's where I calibrate, right? So my first career was obviously in the web. It's called Web 1.0. It was the dawning of the digital era, the .coms. No one had heard of them. It's like, what? No one believed in them. They thought it was going to be, a passing trend. Well, then out of that came Google and Facebook and Amazon and YouTube. And so that actually lasted, right? And then about 10 years after that came what we refer to as Web 2.0, which is Facebook and YouTube. And it was where we could actually interact instead of technology being flat and read only, which is what it was in the beginning. We start to interact. And now we have communities all around the world with, pick a topic, you can find a community. So that was Web 2.0. And I rode that wave by launching my business online before Zoom and before we could see each other, before FaceTime. So that was Web 2.0, but I could see, wow, this is really cool. I can reach in my coaching a global audience, and the technology is now there to support it. So that was really exciting. And then not that long ago, in my early adopter vibe, I was like, there is something coming down the pike that's going to put Web 1 and 2 to shame. It is going to transform how we do everything in the world. And that's what's called Web 3. We can talk about the particulars if we want to, but it's just so clear to me whoa, like, whoa, what's coming? And it's not about just about making money and cryptocurrency. And it's a bigger framework that will, I don't want to say upend, but transform pretty much every category of our life.
Wow.
And the opportunity for women is immense. And not just because of money, but because the way the whole thing is developed and architected is so indigenous to the feminine, the awakened feminine spirit, which people are like, what? It's like, well, the technology is actually incredibly feminine, which is why it makes so much sense for women to get in there and get not their piece, but to establish themselves and become a leader and reap the rewards. So that's kind of my journey of why I'm now so, I almost feel like everything I've done, well, we all feel this way. Everything I've done has not just led me to this point. It's like, oh, finally, I understand what we're here to do. I mean, everything we've done has been great, but really ushering in this next revolution for women is uniquely right now. So,
ooh. Can you talk more about Web3? Because just so people can understand why it's so exciting.
That, right?
Yeah.
I just did a Clubhouse thing yesterday on what is this Web3 thing and how do we break the bro code, I call it, because it's so like enmeshed in this male energy, which I love male energy, but where's the window? Where's the opportunity? So Web3 refers to a lot of different buzzwords. So it's cryptocurrency, it's the metaverse, that. It's things called NFTs, non-fungible tokens. It's DAOs, DAO, which is decentralized autonomous organizations. It refers to a lot of different chunks of projects that are burgeoning right now. And so that's what the Web3 term generally covers. But the piece that makes all of those, that connects all of those, is the concept of the blockchain. And this is where I really want women to lean in and understand, not technically, you don't need to know how it actually works, but the ethos of it. This is why I say Web3 is feminine. So can I go on with this?
Yes, please. Yes, okay. Please do. I'm just like listening, like, tell me more. So please keep going. Yes.
Okay. This is why Web3 is inherently feminine, because the blockchain is a different technology. In the way that I describe it, I don't know if it's a good way or not, but I'm trying to find words to, for those of us who are not technical, to be like, what? Let's look at cars. So I think we all know those Hummer vehicles, those big honking tanks that people drive in cities that are gas guzzlers. Like, what? Like, no offense, anyone has one, but it's just like, okay, interesting. And then you have the electric vehicle, right? Or the solar powered vehicle that will be coming out. And they both do the same thing. They get you from where you want to go, but they have different engines, different architectures underneath. And I think everyone would agree that the electric solar powered vehicle is far superior to the gas guzzler. Just makes more sense, right? So the old technology that our life is built on is the Hummer. And the new technology that we're moving into, blockchain, is the electric vehicle. It's more elegant, it makes more sense, there's more you can do with it, and on and on and on. And the reason I say it's feminine is because the way the technology is set up is there's no hierarchy. So in the old system, everything we do is around a hierarchy where there's somebody at the top or in the middle, in the central, and we go, everything flows from there. Hierarchies are needed in nature. I'm not saying they're bad, but we've outgrown hierarchies. And here's why we've outgrown it. When everything we do has to go through a centralized authority, somebody at the top, somebody who says yes or no to what we want, it strips us of our power and our dominion and our sovereignty. Let me sidestep and give some examples, because that's a huge concept. And I promise I'll get back to why Web3 is feminine. When you have centralized authority, here's what happens. With your money, if every decision you make goes through a bank, because it does, the bank has control over our money. I know that you might think you have control over your money, but you really don't.
Yeah.
And there are examples in the world where people wanted to do things with their money and banks and authorities stopped them.
Yeah.
I give you an example. When the Ukrainian war broke out, when the Canadian truckers went on strike last year to protest the vaccine mandates. This is not political. I am not political. I'm simply pointing out what has happened in our society. They went on strike, and as you may remember, it caused a lot of chaos in Canada. And the Prime Minister of Canada, to finally alleviate and dispel the protest, froze the Canadian truckers' money. And everyone was like, what just happened? And that made them fold. Now, if you were on the sidelines watching this and you wanted to support the truckers and give them money because you felt, whatever reason, you just want to support, and you send your money to GoFundMe, that sounded like a good idea, except GoFundMe froze those funds. So the truckers were basically choked off. And again, it doesn't matter if you agreed or disagreed with them. That was astounding and an incredible example of, holy moly, I don't have any control over where my money goes.
Yeah.
By contrast, when the Ukrainian war broke out, within 1 week, $60 million of cryptocurrency got in the hands of the Ukrainians in 1 week, where they could not just buy bullets and vests and things like that, but food and medicine. So, wow. So anyway, when there's a centralized authority in our lives, we don't have control. And I don't know about you, but that makes me really uncomfortable, especially as a woman who's, Two other examples just to point out the world we live in right now versus the world we're moving into. Your body. So when there's a centralized control government in charge, they will tell you what you can and can't do with your body.
Yeah.
Whether you wanted to be vaccinated or not vaccinated, I have no opinion on that. I just know that in our country, life was very difficult should you choose not to get vaccinated because the government decided you need to put this in your body. Also in the States right now, there's a huge uproar because they overturned something called Roe v. Wade, which was an abortion law.
Yeah.
And so now people are very upset because the government has decided one way or another about what you can do with your body. So I'm not really comfortable with centralized authorities deciding for me what I can and can't do with my body or my money. And the final one, which we all know, is censorship. So if the big technopolies, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, doesn't like what you're saying, they can shut you down. And for a lot of creators, that's devastating because your entire livelihood just gets wiped out in a push of a button by somebody up top.
Yeah.
So that's the old architecture and the old model where everything filters through powers that be. The new one, it gets rid of that. It takes that middleman out. And that's because this thing called blockchain is coming down the pike. It's already here, but now we're using it in different verticals, different ways. And the reason it's feminine, to finally get back to my point, is because it's peer-to-peer. It's sister to sister. You don't have to go through daddy anymore. You go straight to each other and you support, connect, transact, whatever it is you're doing directly. And I call this, like, blockchain to me is like the sister code or the mom code. So, if your boyfriend's cheating on you or something and your girlfriends get wind of it, like, he is not going far, right? Because your sisters are going to be on that. Or if your kid is misbehaving in the playground and you don't see it, that mom code is coming in and they're going to take care of little Johnny and they're going to let you know. Like, that's what we do for each other. And blockchain does the same thing because that no nefarious character can kind of get in there and muck things up. It's very difficult to get away with anything. It's very trustworthy, even though I know it's technology and people are like, can it be hacked? And this is where you need to deep dive more on the technology to understand how rock solid so much of the blockchain is. But my point is, it's feminine by nature because it's about a rising tide lifts all boats, which is how we move through the world. We are not just me. And then I got my kids, and then I got my parents, and then I got my husband. And so blockchain is elegantly feminine, which I don't know if I explained that well or not, but I'm so clear on that, right?
Yeah, that is, I'm just like, whoa, because I think for a lot of people, they might be they might have invested or bought cryptocurrencies of some kind, but they don't understand like anything about it. It's just like, oh, it's the craze and everyone's on it.
Right.
Right. But I think really to be empowered is to have that understanding of it. Like, not that you don't need that, like you say, you don't need the technical, but really have an understanding of what it actually all means and how we can actually use it to empower us and create, create wealth from it and build a sisterhood, brotherhood,
Yeah.
whatever hood you want to build.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we can talk about the particulars of what is cryptocurrency and stuff, but I just wanted to lay the framework, kind of like lay that in so that, like you said, you really understand the paradigm shift that's happening, which is so exciting. Now, it is the wild, wild west. So this is very early. They say right now, technologically, we're at about 1995, where we were in 1995 before the internet and all that. It's kind of where we are. So you want to just know that. And I love that you're getting this word out, because the more educated you are, the more knowledgeable you are, the better off you'll be about all this. You won't be hit out of the blue with how you're going to be educated, knowledgeable, and make your own wise decisions. And this really, back to your idea of sovereignty, this really allows you to take back control and take sovereignty over your life, every area.
Yeah. So. Which is so important. Like the examples that you've given before, like you said, not political, but just watching it from the sideline going, oh, like it can be just frozen like that.
We were all stunned. Like,
it's like, what? So we really don't have control. And again, your body, the rights to your own body, you don't actually have the rights to your body, all those things. And so it's just so important for us to understand what sovereignty is and really to take back our power. So important.
It's really interesting because I lead something called the Sovereign Wealth Circle. And what's so fascinating is we're not used to it. So when I'm teaching this stuff, it not just breaks your brain, like, wait, what is this stuff? I don't really understand how it works. It's also, oh, you mean I can have sovereignty? I don't know if I want it. Like, I'm used to the convenience of a bank running my money. Like, it's very different. So it's going to take some training. Like, we need an on-ramp to this new world. And those of us who are deeply aligned with I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar, and unleash women's abilities, give me the control and the power. You want to line up with the new technologies and with Web3, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah. And it's also really that this time is crucial for everyone to start waking up to their sovereignty. Like you said, people just don't understand and they don't want to. A lot of times is they don't want to. It's not that they don't even understand, is like it's not comfortable to take responsibility.
Exactly. Somebody said, I think our mutual friend said, there's no growth in comfort and there's no comfort in growth.
Yeah.
It's like, yep, that's true. And I'm just so passionate. Like, ladies, you can do this. I even came out with a report called the top 5 blocks women have about crypto. Like, stop. Don't give me the excuses. You can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. So
yeah.
But yeah, most people are too, we're too hooked into this to really look up and go, oh, wow, look what's happening.
Yeah. Because for me, you know what I do? I teach people how to trade shares, but I also know that, we need to things will be changing, in the next however many years. So really need to start looking into this, Web3 space, because that's where we're going. It is still a while away, but it's it is coming. So it's very important to not only learn how to make money now in the current system, but really look forward, because I think I know some friends who are don't understand the Web3 and they jumped in and they've kind of discounted everything that is in our current reality.
Yes,
and I'm like,
you can be fanatic about it. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I get it that you are, forward thinking, but things are
We still
still
need money. We still need money.
I'm just like, okay, so we need to really understand that, okay, we have to live life as it currently is, but also look forward. So you
Absolutely.
don't just kind of stay one side or the other. It's like, both. Yeah. Can I ask you a bit about, or actually, you were talking about the 5 blocks. Are you happy to share what the 5 blocks are? Yeah.
Yes. I'm not sure I can remember all 5, but I can tell you the ones that come to the top of mind.
Yeah.
Most women feel like it's too technical. Like, I'm not techie. Like, you don't have to be techie.
Yeah.
When you learn anything new, like a language, it takes some time. You got to lay in some foundation. So it will take some time to understand, what is this blockchain thing? Because it breaks your brain. It's a different paradigm. It's not that you're not techie enough. It's that it's new.
Yeah.
It's going to take some time. I'm too old to learn it. No, you're not. If you can operate this, you can operate anything. It's just for men. No, not at all. It's not just for men. Too old, too techie, just for men. I forget what the other ones are.
Yeah,
sorry.
That's okay.
But the basic excuses. My audience trends a little on the older side, as I am, and so there's a particular block around being too old and it being too technical. I think your age group is a little more, like that's just how you live. But my age group just thinks you can't teach an old dog new tricks, or they think it's just for the young people, or they think it's a fad and it's going to go away. It's like, no. And like you said before, it's not just coming, it's here. And the way we measure that is by what's called adoption. How many people in the world are adopting these new technologies? And it's no longer just the kids in hoodies. Like, a lot of Web3 and crypto was the kids, the gamers.
Yeah.
It's not that anymore. Now, in the States, there's a huge, I think it's the biggest investment company, BlackRock, is now partnered with a major player in the crypto space to make it possible for their institutional investors, to invest in crypto. So there's mass adoption. Well, you know what BlackRock is. Yeah. Mass adoption from the powers that run the traditional world. Yeah. They're legitimate. They are legit. They're seeing it as a legitimate thing now.
Yeah.
So
it's not going away. Yeah. It's here already, but like, for things to really, like, for our world to completely shift, it's still a while away. Maybe I should reiterate.
Yes.
Yeah. So, because like you're saying, BlackRock, even like all the banks are, looking at blockchain, they're investing in blockchain to see, how they can run things differently.
Pie, right?
And everyone wants a piece of the pie because they also see the security in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's really important. Can I ask you, okay, I think I'm still quite old school. So when people talk about the metaverse, I'm just like,
yes.
What is that? It just kind of blows my mind how people buy real estate on like this this I don't know.
Where is it?
Yeah. I'm just like, I don't even know, like, I can't even language it at the moment, but I'm just like, okay. And then people interact there, like they have their avatars, and I was like, okay, why can't we communicate in real life?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you mind sharing a bit?
I think that you're making an excellent point, because when we look at that, we're like, that's just dumb. Like, why would we want to do that? And I think that points to the fact that it is still a wild, wild west, and we don't see the value in it yet. So I'm kind of with you. Like, why would I want to buy real estate online? I mean, not like, you can buy real estate through the blockchain. You can buy real estate through blockchain. But why would I want to own a parcel of a digital blah, blah, blah? Like, how does that help me?
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're still in 1995, where we're not exactly sure. I mean, sure, there's things like, you'll be able to, put your body measurements into the store, try the clothes on, see how they look and feel before you actually buy them. Well, that might be useful. Or maybe there's some medical implications, with your body. But I think in terms of, is this really useful? I think that has yet to be seen. But keep your eye on it, because there are going to be uses for it. beyond, okay, that just seems dumb, And if you're a creator or an artist, I think you definitely want to take a look at it, because through blockchain, this gives you so much more dominion over your earnings. So right now, as a creator, if you're a podcaster or an artist or a musician, what have you, and you're uploading to YouTube and you're putting your stuff out on Facebook or whatever, Instagram, they take such a huge percentage of anything if you're actually at the point where you're earning, that it's almost impossible to make a decent living.
Yeah.
But the stats have shown that when you're using the new technologies, it's peer-to-peer. So you want to pay me $100? I'm going to get just about $100 without, all the powers that be taking their cut along the way that gives me pennies instead. Yeah. So I think, so here's an invitation for people. When you hear about metaverse or crypto, don't get so overwhelmed. Look at, what do you care about? And how is what you're doing going to be positively affected by the new technology? And go there, start there, because there is so much silly stuff. There always is. I mean, back when the .com era was starting, it was like, that just raised $10 million to get that business off the ground. Are you kidding me? And of course it crashed and burned. Yeah. So I would say, just general, like a 90% of a lot of the stuff that's being played with right now won't last. But out of that will come Google's, Facebook's, and Amazon's of Web3. So,
yeah. Because you are like, you've just got this, early adopter vibe, and you just see the opportunities. How can someone who's kind of getting in, like you were saying, you start off with what you care about, but how can you spot the Facebook, the Google, the Amazons of the Web3?
Wouldn't we all love to know that? I'd be a billionaire if I could tell you that one. But no, that's a really good question. If you're not an early adopter, like I said, maybe just pay attention to what you do care about, and then start, if you're going to be online looking at stuff, start Googling, start looking at, how is my industry changing? So I have a client who's a realtor, right? And she doesn't want to hear about it, but she knows that blockchain is completely upending the way real estate is done, which is actually in the positive. So she is reluctantly but openly looking at, how is that going to affect my livelihood and what I really love doing. I would invite everyone, in addition to that, to look more closely at cryptocurrency itself, because it's a different money system, and there's two ways it's used, as you know, 𝐋𝐢𝐧𝐝𝐚, which is, one is as an investment. You can invest in a certain coin, cryptocurrency, and hope that it appreciates, just like in the traditional markets. But it's also a new money system where I believe that's going to be how we pay for things, is with cryptocurrency versus the US dollar or the yen or what have you. So everyone should be at least getting curious about, what is this new money system and why should I care? So,
yeah. I mean, I think when, even in the last few years, people were still like, oh, Bitcoin's going to go, But there's Bitcoin ATMs now, and there's countries that, accept it as part of, it's a legit currency. So it's not going away. So it's time really to look into your cryptocurrencies and start playing around with it, but
they say don't invest anything you can't afford to lose. But but yeah, and I think if you look at the story of, what is this Bitcoin thing and why did it start? It started as a result of 2008 crash here in the States. We had a ridiculous financial bubble at first.
Across the world.
Across the world, of course. Yeah, thanks. And they were looking for solutions to prevent that. And from that came the Bitcoin blockchain and the Bitcoin currency itself. And so it's a fantastic development.
Yeah.
So there's an ethos behind it.
Yeah.
And there's the Bitcoin, enthusiasts who, Bitcoin's going to save the world. Well, it might not, who knows? But I think we all know that with current inflation and the fiat system, which is what regular money is considered, it's just not looking good. Like we're just not sure. And most money systems that have been built the way ours is gone don't end up particularly stronger. So just get curious. What is this Bitcoin thing? What should I do? How do I invest? So.
Yeah. And yeah, what you said about don't invest more than you can lose. Very, very, very important. That is like rule number one in investing.
Because it's the wild, wild west right now in cryptocurrency. So don't put all your life savings there. And just know that if the regular markets are going to drop by 20%, crypto is going to drop by 60 to 80%. That's just how it's been. It's going to take a while. It'll level out eventually, but right now it's a little crazy.
Yeah, very crazy. All the markets are crazy right now.
Right. Yeah. The industry you're in, like, wow. I'm over here playing in the sandbox of, ooh, what's coming, and you're in the middle of, oh boy, what do we do now? Right.
Yeah. So. But there's always opportunities. That's the thing that we need to remember. No matter what's happening in the world, even if things are going to shit, there's still opportunities. And like you say, Bitcoin came out when, there was a global financial crisis. So from that, this started, and look where it is now. So, the craziness we've gone through in the last 2 years. I mean, there's so many new businesses, new initiatives that have started because the world went to shit. But, so much good stuff has come out of it. Yes.
I don't remember the number, but you can Google it. The number of times people have said Bitcoin is dead. It's like in the thousands when they predicted it was going to start in 2008, 2009. And it is consistently like it does this, but it does this.
Yeah.
So not all cryptocurrencies do, but this one for sure. So just take a look, get curious. Because again, this is about awakening the divine feminine. This is about your feminine power, and money is power and resource is power. So let's give you the power. Change the money. Yeah. So let's take a look at it.
Yeah. And with crypto, like the different cryptocurrencies, you want to look at the ones that are strong, that actually, like, what you were talking about before, what does it actually do? What's the ethos behind it? What is the company doing? Because there are some like stupid coins. Although some stupid coins have gone up a lot, but then, they've also crashed and burned, but, you want to do something, you want to look at those that there is a long-term vision and they're doing something good for the planet.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it's just like in traditional investing, like do your own research.
Exactly.
Understand what this is.
Yeah. Don't go in because everyone's going in.
Don't go in because Uncle Joe said, you got to bet your farm on this one. It's going to moon, no.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I can talk to you all day, but I'm just like, oh my goodness, we've talked for so long, and I'm like looking at the time going, So thank you so much for this conversation, because I think it's so needed that we, like you say, empower women and men to really start looking at things where they can take their power back to, to bring in to wake up their knowing that they are sovereign beings. So so important. So I just love this conversation and love everything that you're doing, because it's just amazing that you are doing this, because it's so needed in this world right now.
And right back at you, like Awaken Feminine, we bring it. The more we have of that, better off we all are.
Yeah. So. And these are the conversations that just light me up and help awaken all the feminine in the world.
We are more powerful than we only scratch the surface of our power. So this is the era to wake her up.
Yeah. Right? Oh, thank you so much. I'm going to ask you one last question before we wrap up. Well, actually 2 questions, but the first one is, what is setting your soul on fire right now?
This is setting my soul on fire. I've clearly always been an entrepreneur, always an early adopter. I feel like in this moment, everything I've done, women's empowerment and technology, boom, here we are. So I am so passionate about empowering women around this new stuff. I'm also on a personal level, that's business is personal, but I'm a new empty nester. I've taken 25 years to raise 3 kids. And so I'm inventing Linda, I call it Linda 3.0. There's Web 3.0, there's Linda 3.0. So I'm like, whoa, I finally, like that list I've had forever, that life I thought I was going to live before, I can finally do that. So I'm really excited. So that's an invitation wherever you are in life to remember, we create our reality. We can have anything we want. We just have to have some discipline and some practices around it. So that's what's lighting me up. And meeting women like you, like I just, in the sandbox with people.
Yeah. Ooh, I love it. Love it. It's excited to see, where it all takes you being a, empty nester as well. Now moving.
I'll be traveling around the world. So you never know. I might be stopping in.
Oh yeah. Well, if you come to Perth, Australia, hit me up. I will take you around for sure.
Yep.
And last question is, if people want to find out more about you, how they can work with you, how they can find out, learn more about this Web3 space, crypto space, where should they go?
Thank you. So just hit me up on my website, which is one word, womenswealthrevolution.com. Just sign up for whatever the freebie is on the site and you'll get on our list and then you'll see what we're up to. So it's womenswealthrevolution.com. That's the best way.
Amazing. I will have your details in the show notes so people can reach out to you. Thank you so much again for this amazing conversation.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. It's a real treasure. Peace.
Yeah.
It's a blessing.
Thank you.